All right, what's up everybody, and welcome back to a new Flow video. This is Jacob Tucker, the best and most attractive Flow developer of all time. And this video, I'm going to be showing you how to pass more complicated arguments into your scripts. So in the last video, we went over, when you click on print result, it prints hello idiot, right? And this is simply because in our script, we're just running a basic Cadence script that returns hello idiot, but we're not actually passing anything into the transaction. So let's go ahead and do that now. So in order to do that, you need to add a new argument called args, and you need to do this little thing where you put arg, and then t, and then this little arrow syntax and an array. And so inside this array is where we're going to pass all of our arguments to our Cadence script. So let's say we want to actually take in an x, which is an integer, x, which is an integer, and y, which is an integer, and we're going to return another integer. That's going to be x plus y. So what we do here is inside our args, array, we're going to put arg, and then the arg we want to pass in, so 3. Now, quick note, all of the, even though these are integer arguments, all integer arguments or numbers need to be strings. So we pass that as a string, and then we pass in t.int, which is the type. So for each arg, you pass in the value, which is, 3, and then the type, which is t.int. Now, note that these types always match what you're passing in. So if this was uint 64, if this was uint 64, then you would pass in t.uint64. And similarly, if this was for address, you would pass in t.address. So it's all the same, just like that, okay? But for this one, we're going to try it with integers. So let's pass in another integer and say arg. The next one's going to be, 5, and it's also a t.int. So if we were to execute this now on our front end, it's going to return 8, right? Which is awesome. So it did the 3 plus 5. So perfect. That's great. So how about some more complicated arguments? Well, what if we wanted to do something like, I already showed you, like, what if we wanted to do a string? We could get rid of this and just return the string. All right. And we'll just return X here. And so if we wanted to return a string, we could say, hello there, you Cadence idiots. All jokes, of course, and then pass in, t.string. So if we were to execute this now, we get, hello there, you Cadence idiots, right? So let's dive into maybe a more complex example. So what if we wanted to pass in an array? Well, we could do an array of strings, just like that. And maybe now in here, instead of passing in just one string, we pass in an array. So like hello and bonjour, because those are the only two languages I speak. So in order to pass in an array, you have to do t.array and then the value of the elements in the array. So in this case, it's t.string. So we're passing in a t.array of t.strings. And so if we were to execute this now, we get that it's printing. That's awesome. And, similarly, if we were doing like an array of addresses, right, we would do t.array of t.address. So let's put OX01 and OX02 and see what happens. Boom. So it does it for us, right? It automatically converts those to actual addresses as well. And now what if we want to do a little more difficult example and we wanted to pass in a dictionary of string to integers, right? So let's try this type. Let's replace it there as well. And so in order to do this one, it gets a little more complicated. And the reason for that is because we need to pass in an array of key value pairs as a dictionary. So let's pass in one object that is, let's say the key is hello. And this maps to a number of 1, so integer. Now remember, just like this. So remember that our numbers are always represented as strings, and we can even pass another key value pair. So let's say the key is bonjour, and our value is 2. All right. And so the type for this one is actually going to be, let me put a little comment here, is t.dictionary. And you pass in an object where the key is the value of the type of the key. So t.string, and the value is t.int, okay? So just like that. And so if we were to execute this function, we would get hello 1, bonjour 2. So just like that. Perfect. So that's how we, pass in all these arguments to our scripts. And if you have any questions, I would absolutely recommend checking out Max's article on, build on Flow, learn FCL, pass arguments to scripts. It's exactly what I went over today, except even in more detail. So if you have any questions, I would definitely check this out. And he even goes over more complicated examples like, passing in much more complicated examples like an array of dictionaries, right? So really cool stuff. And thanks a lot to Max for that. And I'll leave the description in the comments, or I'll leave the link to this in the description. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.